Greetings, guys and gals, to another Jabber Jabber, and this is, of course, Jabberwock bringing you the KSL AHO round of 16. This is Group B, final match, and at the bottom 6 o'clock position we have dalbz as the orange protoss, and the red protoss at the top right is going to be falkentyne. So both of these players are 1-1, dalbz winning against falkentyne in the first round and losing to Riku or something like that. Anyways, falkentyne losing to dalbz and beating who did falkentyne beat? Falkentyne, oh, Ty Porter. So both of these players again are 1-1. Scout coming out for falkentyne. Gonna come in the base here, see that gateway being put down by dalbz. And this should be a pretty good game because it's PvP. Both of these players have played pretty well so far in the KSL. So we'll just see how it goes, and those probes doing a little dance right there. Not much else going on here. It hasn't even put down his gateway yet. Maybe going for a little bit more economy. Finally it does put down his gateway though. And so yeah, that scout is going to go into falkentyne's base. He's going to scout in the right direction, and falkentyne is going to have to run his probe out so it doesn't get destroyed. It looks like we have another gateway going up, so 2 gateways going up for dalbz, and falkentyne is opting to go for an assimilator first. dalbz picking up his assimilator a little bit later. And dalbz's probe gets into falkentyne's base, so he's going to be able to see everything that's going on. Does do a little dance, and both of those probes are going to be following dalbz's probes, and so they're going to be losing mineral time, and this is, you know, kind of the little tiny things that make all the difference, and so we'll see how much that affects his economy. Chrono boosting out nothing here. Don't exactly know what's going on. Maybe he's not even supply blocked. He's just chrono boosting and not building anything. Okay. Anyways, his probe is picking up that Xelnaga watchtower right there. Zealot out at the front gate. Probe coming in to build a cybernetics core. So not much else going on. I don't even know why he chrono boosted that gateway and did not build a zealot at it. Looks like we have a cybernetics core going down for dalbz. And I think I already told you guys about that. My bad. But anyways, both players are pumping out zealots, and dalbz picking up a pylon at his front gate, probably so we can warp units in here, maybe put some cannons or something of that nature. But very similar builds by both players. falkentyne getting his gas, both of his gas up a little bit earlier. dalbz getting his gas a little bit later. And if we check out the income tab, it looks like falkentyne is a little slightly bit ahead in both areas. He has 18 harvesters to dalbz's 13. Units tab about even, pretty much, besides probes being traded for a zealot there. And going back to the production tab, it looks like we have a sentry being trained by dalbz. And finally, it looks as though falkentyne is going for his cybernetics core a little bit late there, but it's okay because he has that extra save of gas. So he pretty much, it's cybernetics core over gas. I think he should have gone for the core a little bit sooner though, so he could research warp gate technology. That's really helpful. That probe's still at the Xelnaga watchtower, and another probe at the bottom right, so maybe gonna try to go in for a run by or do some scouting. But right now we have 3 zealots, a stalker, and a sentry at the front gate for dalbz, and for falkentyne just 4 zealots, so theoretically dalbz could put on some early pressure, especially because he has that warp gate almost researched. He is putting down a forward, so probably going to play a little bit more defensive, going to turtle up in his base, probably not go for 2 gate necessarily. I mean, he still could, but it'll be a little bit harder to expand at this moment. Pylon being put down by falkentyne, and both players are just really content to macro up here. So we're going to speed up the game just a tad bit. Sentry and Stalker morphing in for dalbz here. He is keeping his units at that front gate. Looks like falkentyne is scouting to see if there's an expansion there. He knows there is no expansion, and cannon being put down at the front gate for dalbz, so playing a little bit more defensive like I was said. Meanwhile, it looks like zealots are moving out, possibly maybe just going to stay there so he can secure an expansion. Not entirely sure. He, at the mineral count, he does have enough for an expansion, so maybe that's what he's going to do. That probe scouting for possible extra bases. Not going to see anything because dalbz is playing at 1 base right now, but otherwise, other than that, a pretty big force is being gathered by falkentyne. And right now, falkentyne is a little bit ahead on the macro side. dalbz building cannons. I think he should probably switch to units would be preferable. 3 gates for both players, but robotics facility going down for falkentyne. So that's a little bit earlier. He opted to do that instead of the forge, which is, I think, a good move, to be completely honest. It looks like falkentyne's still looking for extra bases. That probe is not going to get picked off. dalbz didn't even see it. dalbz is looking for extra expansions here now as well, but that probe has seen the entire, and that's really bad for him. And it looks like these forces might move in. I'm going to slow it down to normal speed, or faster, I guess you could say, and these forces are pressing right at the expansion, natural expansion, and they are probably going to walk up. They're probably going to back off just because of these cannons. They do see the cannons. They do almost pick off a stalker. One of the stalker goes down for falkentyne, and this is going to be really bad. There's going to be engagement here. No! And finally turn around his forces. dalbz realizing what he's done, and these zealots are just going to town on dalbz's stalkers. The sentries are doing a ton of damage, though. They're using their guardian shield, but just on each other, and this is sort of bad. This is going to be a pretty good exchange here, warping in more units. I think dalbz is going to come out a little bit ahead. All of those units are really low on health, though. All 3 of those right there. If he can just kill those off, that'll be really critical. He does kill off 2 of them, and so he's able to fight off falkentyne. Those sentries just following those zealots, and I think that's a really bad idea because they're just going to get picked off, and dalbz needs to run him back. I don't think he's paying attention, and he's not paying attention to those sentries, and the sentries go down. So, feeling a little bit confident, seems like dalbz is going to go for his natural expansion. I don't know if that, I think that's a little farther than the closest position, but I'm not entirely sure. I think he probably could have placed that nexus closer, which is kind of a yuck move there. But anyways, observer out for falkentyne, and he's going to be able to see a lot of what's going on if he puts that out to scout. He's also going to be able to see DTs, and it looks like dalbz moving his forces, realizing that he's a little bit outmatched here, going to have to pull back. Meanwhile, we have a probe at the I guess top right still position here, probably the 1230 position. Maybe going to put down another base, not entirely sure. He still has that Zelnog watchtower, which will be able to let him know if the enemy goes down that way. That base is about 2/3 of the way done, building cannons and pylons, and Twilight Council going down, so probably going to research Blink, seeming that his army is full of stalkers. Other than that, though, not much going on. falkentyne also picking up his natural expansion, has a ton of zealots, army really zealot heavy. That probe's still scouting out for extra bases, and that's really good for him. He needs to have a lot of information, and yeah, that nexus is a little far, but he needs to have a lot of information to know what his opponent is doing. And it looks like a Templar Archives, no, not Templar Archives, Dark Shrine is going down for dalbz. So he is going to go for DTs, although I think this is going to be thwarted unless he can kill off that observer. He really needs to get an observer of his own so he can see falkentyne's observer and kill it off, so this DTs can be really effective. Without an observer, those DTs are just going to crush through any army, even if it is zealot heavy. falkentyne content to keep his probe at this base over here. Pretty much he's got all the ways blocked. He's got really good map control right now. He's kind of keeping dalbz in his base, and he's going to know if dalbz tries to expand, at least at his he's going to know if dalbz expand at these closest bases here, and if he tries to expand at any of these other regions, then, well, that's a really bad move for him, simply because his army is going to be split up so much. And both players, again, are just really content on macroing up. They really are doing a nice job of keeping their armies kind of at the front to make sure, you know, they don't get caught off by surprise. But it looks like this observer is going to be really key, especially with these Dark Templar moving in here. If dalbz gets some observers of his own and kills off that observer, well, that possibly could be GG, because there is 2 cannons, but if he gets in here, there's no cannons at all. And not too much else going on. More cannons being warped in, more Dark Templar being warped in. Both players are, I assume, at close to the same economy. Yeah, they are at almost the exact same economy. It looks like ground armor is being upgraded by dalbz here, and ground weapons too is being upgraded, and he does pick off that observer. But going into the battle here, it looks like all these forces are going to go in. This observer is really critical. dalbz doesn't have an observer, and this is really bad. The Dark Templar finally come back in, but I think it's a little bit too late, especially because their observer is there. They're going to be able to be picked off by this huge force, and dalbz's force all goes down, and falkentyne looks like he's just going to be able to march in and kill off this natural expansion. I don't know exactly what dalbz has in store for him, but things are not looking good, especially he hasn't been using his chrono boosts on either of his bases, and these cannons are just going to be mincemeat, especially with these Immortal and Zealot heavy army. He needs to be streaming in units at the same time. Neither player is building units really at any time. dalbz is building stalkers, but that's the wrong position. They're going to get picked off before they even warp in, and this is going to be really bad for him. That was a really bad move for him to move in like that. I really think he should have just waited out, got some more economy up, maybe use some chrono boost, build some more gateways or something. He's trying to build a Stargate and a robotics facility, but I think it's kind of futile at this point. His natural is going to go down, and surprisingly, falkentyne is only building one Immortal, so he really should be warping in more units, but nonetheless, I think that it doesn't matter at this point. This is definitely going to be GG, especially with all the minerals that he just wasted on the Stargate and the robotics facility. I really think he should have definitely canceled that, probably built up more cannons, maybe more forces, could have held this off a little bit longer, and kept himself in the game. He did pull his probes into this base, but falkentyne's probe is able to see that, so they're going to be taken out any moment. And this is a really grim situation. falkentyne upgrading his shields. Don't really see players upgrade their shields a lot, but I mean, I guess that's his choice. Anyways, this is a really grim situation for dalbz. He is building the base there, but falkentyne's probe sees it. He even clicked on the probe just as I said that. Looks like Blink's being upgraded too by falkentyne, but the reason why is because he beat falkentyne by the skin of his teeth. And that game was really close, and it just looks like falkentyne's going to take this one and take the game that matters out of the two, I guess, because he's going to advance, and dalbz is not going to be able to. I feel really bad for him. But it looks like falkentyne is splitting up his forces, probably going to go take out this base here, which is a good idea because he knows that dalbz does not have a lot of stuff. He doesn't have a really good economy going. He's low on resources, low on minerals, and this base is just going to get taken out. And all these probes are just dying, and yeah, so this Nexus should be cancelled. Probably not going to cancel the Nexus, actually. I don't know why, but just going to let it die and lose 400 minerals. This pylon's also going to go down, and still a formidable force at this front here. dalbz has one stalker to his name and is really mined out. I mean, both players are mined out at their main, but falkentyne still has a ton of minerals at his natural, so he's not going to be starved out for a long time. It looks like falkentyne's forces are going to go kill this robotics facility and this Stargate, and probably be able to march up the front, to be completely honest. His Zealots obviously have charge, and that's going to be really crucial. Once he has Blink, he's just going to be able to blink right up to these cannons and kill everything off. Especially with his secondary force coming back from the 9 o'clock position. It looks like dalbz got a hit from his stalker there, but you know, not a lot of that matters. And falkentyne is going to be double expanding, it looks like, picking up 2 bases, one at the high yield, one at the bottom right. And again, this is the essence of Starcraft. It looks like dalbz is going for a last-ditch effort, but you know, when you attack and when you have your opponent on the ropes, and GG coming from dalbz, but when you attack and you have your opponent on the ropes, what you want to do is you just want to expand, and that's exactly what he did. See you guys next match.